Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor, bringing you another video on how to raise your vibration so you can live your best life. Wanted to chat today about hyper independence. I think it's been over glorified in our society to be extremely independent. I certainly was guilty for many, many years of not needing anyone and being able to handle everything on my own. And it certainly did take a toll on my relationships as well as make even business challenging. And hyper independence can be a trauma response. It can also be learned through societal conditioning. And so I want to quickly cover what does that look like in your life or our lives, what causes it, how do we heal it, and why do we want to heal it, and sort of what's the goal, what do we want to get to, which would be interdependence. So what does hyper independence look like? I met with a lady the other day who felt that it was such a thing to be proud of, that I don't need anybody, I can do everything all on my own. I was married, but ever since then I even changed my own oil. I don't need anybody, right? And we are built to work together. If you follow me, you know. I've talked a lot about how we amplify each other, how we literally are giant crystals, and that as we come together, we create an even greater impact. And so the hyper independence and the isolation actually is a negative. It's a downfall, not just from a spiritual perspective or the new earth construction team perspective, but also in business, in life, in relationships, in love, in parenting, in every aspect of life. It actually can be a detriment to be too independent. And so we want to be very careful with this tendency towards isolation, especially with the way that things are being handled in society over the last couple of years. It's creating more and more division, more and more separation, and truly we are stronger together. It's united we stand, and divided we fall, and that is a fact of the matter. So what does it look like if you're hyper independent? You don't need anybody for anything, essentially. You're a very private person, right? You might be a workaholic or an overachiever, doing everything for yourself, taking on too much, trying to carry the weight of the world, not being able to delegate tasks, not being able to ask for help or even receive help when it's offered, even if you don't ask for it. You have to do everything all on your own, and it makes you uncomfortable if you have to rely on someone or even feel like you're in someone else's hands. I know that can kind of still give me the little bit of a creepy crawly feeling. We may even struggle in long-term relationships because relationships are built on interdependence, and so hyper independence within a relationship will be the downfall of long-term relationships. And we dislike needy people, and of course that is the reflection of what we fear, is being that needy person. How does this come about generally? If you've experienced a situation where you were not able to trust people, not able to rely on people, or you did trust people and relied on them and they did not follow through, they disappointed you, they let you down, you experienced pain because of your desire to want to count on them and they're not being able to be there for you. Typically, hyperindependence is an overcorrection for some sort of pain. It's a cover for pain. It also can come about if we are isolated, left alone a lot as young children, or if we had to take on the role of a caregiver, being a parent to the parent or even a parent to the siblings, and the parent is not there for you and can't be relied on to be the caregiver. How do we heal this? It's not quite as simple as I will make it seem in this video. It certainly is a long-term process if you're dealing with an overarching challenge of complex trauma. So if you didn't feel safe, seen, heard, cared for, or loved as a child, you experience complex trauma, which likely feels like unworthiness to you. You do need to work with a professional to heal that trauma. Is not something that you can work through on your own. You need that mirror to be able to see how these habits and patterns play out in your life, as well as to amplify the healing energy, to work with the energy, to use something somatic like brain spotting, like I facilitate, or even just talk therapy can be a start to it. But essentially, you will have to do some sort of somatic and subconscious reprogramming to be able to truly get rid of complex trauma. But if you're just dealing with hyper independence and you don't have as much of a worthiness wound or a traumatic childhood, then this path to healing should work for you. So like I said, I'm going to kind of keep it simple for the sake of a shorter video for you guys. I know that that's what you've asked for. So the path to healing, number one, is to ask for help, to recognize when you're doing everything all on your own, and to be willing to stop and to put down this massive to-do list that you may have, or delegate it, or ask for help in some way. Call a friend, ask your partner, ask your kids. I, as a mom, have been very guilty of the over-giving trauma response as well as the hyper-independence trauma response. And so I did everything for everyone all the time. And it was just easier if I did it myself. I could be assured that it would be done right. It would be done more quickly. It would be done more efficiently. And I wouldn't have to be disappointed or frustrated with somebody. So I just did it. And you have to pay attention to when you feel like the crushing weight of the world resting on you. You're tired, you're exhausted, and you're not even appreciated because people are not understanding the level of contribution that you are going through. Or that you're contributing, for lack of a better word, and they will come to not appreciate the work that it takes to maintain the house, to clean the room, to do the laundry, to make dinner, to pack lunches. And so there's no reason we can't ask our kids to say, hey, would you like to pack lunches with me tonight? Or can you help me fold this laundry? My kids are almost 5 and 7 now, and they can help fold laundry. And there are other things that we can do to contribute and to learn how to be a functioning member of our family and how to be interdependent on each other. And so as we ask for help, we're also in twofold here. We're helping the person who wasn't helping themselves help themselves, and also we are teaching interdependence or exercising the interdependence muscle with that relationship that you were leaning on. So number one is ask for help. Number two is notice when you're taking on too much. Like I said, number three is do less. Try not to do everything for everyone. Notice when you are feeling like you're carrying a heavy weight and kindly ask for help, or be willing just not to do things. That not everything has to be done. It's okay to live in a house that looks lived in and not perfect like I was raised. It had to be white glove perfect. It's okay to let things slide. If you're too tired, if you're taking on too much, we need to be really careful not to live in that hypervigilant state, constant fight or flight, remembering that growth and repair cannot happen if you are in fight or flight, if you're feeling stressed all the time, if you're constantly doing everything for everyone. If you're hyper independent, you're likely very consistently in a hypervigilant state, which is very unhealthy for the body and will create disease. Delegate wherever you can, of course, very kindly. This is not about barking orders, but learning to ask, hey, would you mind? I will tell you, I have been told by some very trustworthy male friends that if you ask a man in the right way to help you, if you say, you know what, it would really make me happy if you took out the trash for me, or I really would feel supported if you made the bed for me in the mornings, things of that nature, where you demonstrate in a kind manner the fact that they can make you happy, or they can be useful, or they can be seen as helpful, and also getting something in return. So they're very kind ways to ask for what you need that also strengthens your interdependence muscle. Right? Number 5 is say yes when it comes to someone else offering you help. I know, again, I'm guilty. I will carry all the grocery bags all at once, right? I'm strong. I got this. We don't need multiple trips, right? Even the guy at the grocery store just wants to open the door. Say yes, right? I have learned to say yes, even if I don't need help, because it's more about practicing interdependence, which is supportive of healing the collective whole versus my ego needing to prove that I don't need anyone, and it, you know, at that point it has just become habitual, and so we really need to break that habit. So an exercise for you: go out and ask someone to do something for you. It'll feel pretty uncomfortable if you're not used to this, but ask nicely, ask kindly, demonstrate to them through your words how amazingly awesome and helpful they will be if they do this thing for you, and then sit back, and if you need to look away, but trust that however it's done will be perfect, and it probably won't be perfect, and that's okay too. And just be willing to put yourself in their hands for a little bit. Start with baby steps if you have to, and then from there you can discuss If you can do this with someone that you trust, that you feel safe with, you can discuss how you felt about it. You can discuss, how did I ask? How was it received? You can discuss how it was done and whether or not it could be done better next time, but all in a kind, loving, non-violent, communicative way, right? So again, the goal is interdependence. And I think it is difficult sometimes for us to know what does good look like, because we don't see this a lot in society. It's not taught, and it's not something that is exercised or demonstrated for us. So it is definitely worth covering here today. So the goal is interdependence. An interdependent relationship is when two people, both strong individuals, likely or ideally whole and complete and healed individuals, are involved with each other without sacrificing themselves or compromising their values. That's really critical. To be in a relationship where you can mutually depend on each other without sacrificing yourself or compromising your values. So repeat that if need be, because that's probably the most important piece of this video, right? An interdependent relationships allows both partners to grow together into their best selves, right? To reach your highest potential, to self-actualize fully, mutually, and yet side by side, right? A couple that is interdependent takes equal responsibility and makes an individual effort to strengthen the relationship. I love a guy by the name of Alex Hormozi. If you're an entrepreneur, you've got to follow him. He's not spiritual really, but he is very, very intelligent, and he poses the suggestion that when in doubt, ask yourself, what would the ideal person in this situation do? So if you are trying to be, if you're trying to manifest abundance, what would a wealthy person do? If you're trying to be a good husband or wife, what would a good partner do? What if I'm trying to be a good mother? I ask myself, what would a good mom do? Right? And so to kind of remove yourself from the situation and start to see it from the perspective of Warren Buffett or Annie on Little House of the Prairie or something, I don't know, whoever your ideal person is that you want to emulate, and really ask yourself, what would they do? And that will give you a sense of how to respond in those situations where the emotions can kind of cloud our judgment, right? Interdependent people in relationships make time for personal interests and support each other in their dreams. They identify and each other's value, and also respect their space, encouraging their partner to pursue their passions. So beautiful things we are working towards and that are available to us. The more people that step into this, the more beautiful the world will become. So I hope you found this valuable. This is probably one of a few new videos that will come out in the theme of relationship dynamics. I know I mentioned attachment styles and narcissistic abuse recovery and things of that nature. So a few more videos coming up on love and how do we love on each other, both in romantic relationship as well as just standard friendship or partnership. All right. Do make sure to subscribe so that you get notified of the next videos as they come out, as I mentioned. And then if you're interested in some of the previous topics, continuing your spiritual growth, finding your life purpose, and healing complex trauma, check out these other videos. All right. And do please like, comment, and share to support the channel and the YouTube algorithm. All right. Thanks, guys. Namaste.